Last week I was on a 500-year-old island, stranded on my own. Today, I'm in a 900-year-old city. There's 100,000 people around about me. I've never felt so alone. So this is a 15-minute reset in Edinburgh city centre, and I'm taking you along with me. Edinburgh is one of the only capitals in the world that's only got shops on one side of the main street. The reason for that is that this was the Balmoral Clock before. This is where the old town used to pour all their used water, shall we say. And it was a wasteland. It was just not a kind of place that you wanted to be in. I suppose this is an island for people in the middle of the town where they can escape. It's well used. And then you can see in the background there, that's the Balmoral Hotel. Now, the famous part about the Balmoral Hotel is that its clock runs at its own time, much like we're trying to do today. We're trying to slow things down, trying to have a reset. The way that the clock works on the Balmoral, it just runs a few minutes fast. And the reason for that is so that you'll always make your train on time. I think that's good going. And the thing about Edinburgh, it's a physical place to walk. Even though it's quite small in its size, there's a lot of ups and lots of downs that we're going to be going on. So even in a city full of 100,000 people, there's still escapes that can be had. You just take a little turn off the main thoroughfare, and then you find yourself in Princes Street Gardens again. And just like that, I'm still in the main part of Edinburgh. I'm in Princes Street Gardens. I'm just a couple of minutes away from everybody else. But the silence comes in. This is the back of the Princes Street Gardens. I don't think many people venture up here, to be honest. But it's just one of those quiet spots. Even for such a small area, Edinburgh's got plenty of hills. It's got plenty of steps as well. There's nothing wrong with a bit of physical exercise to help with mental health. So we're going to head up some steps here. These are called the Playfair steps. It doesn't feel like they're playing fair today, but hey, a little workout boost. That's going to help us. And the view's pretty good as well when we get up there. Yeah, they're not finished yet. They keep going on. So that set of steps have just taken us up into the old town. This truly is the heart of Edinburgh. The castle was the main focal point, like we said last week as well. You know, a castle offers security, a fortress, if you will, somewhere that people felt protected. Now, as the population grew, you would find that people would start building the houses as close to the castle as possible. And with limited space, as you can see in the background, they could only really build up the way. And this laid claim to the first ever skyscrapers, I believe. And that old myth, possibly, or it might be true, that in order to get rid of their waste, shall we say, not this one down here, but any wastewater, they would shout Gardaloo, which is watch out below. Yeah. I'm going to keep my eye up, and I'll show you a few of the sights as we go. Even on the Royal Mile, there's just people everywhere. The noise just catches you. So let's try and find a place just away from everyone. I suppose it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it? And you can just hear the sound disappears. They knew how to make these buildings before. Lots of brick. And getting away from everything. I can still hear all the noises. I can still hear people going by. But this is the reset. This is the quiet space in the middle of the chaos. I think for as long as the city stood, at least 900 years, I think people have always wanted to find somewhere that they can just get away from everything. I think that's part of the reason why the new town was built. People were just living on top of each other up here in the old town. And so a decision was made that they would build across what was the Balmoral Clock to get away from everything. For now, though, time to catch a breath. Just time to reset. Can't believe there's so many people out there and I'm the only person here. Oh, better not jinx myself, I suppose. And so at the top of the Royal Mile, we come to Edinburgh Castle. It might have offered isolation before. I think today, it's just far too many people here. I don't know if they've got any space for me, so I think I'm going to head back down the Royal Mile and find a quiet spot. So again, 20 metres away, take a side street, and get a little bit more peace, a little bit more quiet. But you also get this as well. Going to show you something that I was shown years ago. I don't know if it's a myth or not, but I like to think that it's true. So what we have here is the steps that are inside the building, and you'll notice that the third one there is slightly off compared to the rest of them. This is what's known as a thief step. Now, if somebody was breaking into the building because, well, they never had the best of locks, and any of the locks that they did have, it was probably Deacon Brodie that built them anyway for them, so he would always have a spare. If you were walking in and you weren't aware of it, you would trip up on that step, which would then alert the people that were living in the building. Now, this is Deacon Brodie that I was just talking about there. Very famous in Scotland, or in Edinburgh anyway. And the deacon was a key maker. And what he used to do is he'd make all the locks for everybody, but he'd keep a spare for himself. I suppose you could call it his skeleton key. So what he would do at night is he'd break into the houses in a casual way, obviously. He had keys for them. And then he'd be able to help himself to the riches. I suppose that's one way to earn a buck or two. So unfortunately, the skies have opened and we've got a bit of rain again. But we'll find cover in some of the best places. And again, these could be your islands in the middle of the city. Let's head off to the museum. Ghosts? Nah, not for me. So it doesn't matter what the weather is. It's not going to dampen the spirits. Like I said, we'll find somewhere that we can use for an escape, use for a reset. My granny always says, you're not made of sugar, James. Meaning the rain shouldn't bother us. And another one, Billy Connolly. He always said it was never the wrong weather, it was just the wrong clothes. Today, I've got the wrong clothes on. So let's get inside. Let's go and get a bit of a reset and find somewhere that we can recharge the batteries back up again. The weather might not be the best outside, but certainly it's really welcoming environment inside. As you saw, just got a coffee there from Hawthornden Cafe. Big thanks to the girls there, and another reset. Good coffee as well. So even in a busy museum, we can still find places to get away and isolate ourselves. Just need to wait for the lift though. So 5 minutes of coffee, recharging the batteries. Sun's back out, rain stopped. 4 seasons in one day you expect in Edinburgh. And now we're on top of the museum, up on the roof. Let's have a wee look at this one. So here we have Edinburgh Castle, the Witchery. We come further down, following the tail from the volcano. This is what the old town of Edinburgh was built on. And then in the distance we've got Calton Hill there, and we can see over to Fife. You know, even in a place where hundreds of tourists coming through the front door every day, you need to find a bit of solitude, you need to find somewhere that you can isolate away. This is where the National Museum of Scotland have identified that a sensory map would be an ideal opportunity for them to provide others with that bit of solitude. So you ask for these at the front desk, you can take it round with you, and then just handing it back in when you're finished. You also get a map to go with that as well. Stairs everywhere, always stairs. Always stairs. That's the original Peace and Quiet box. Hey, you can always hang up if you want to. So this has been our Edinburgh City Centre reset. Even with so many people around about, you can still find spaces that you can relax. Somewhere to recharge the batteries, somewhere to get away from everything. If you like these videos, why not pop a comment in below? Maybe a place that you'd like to go, or somewhere that you can find your solitude. Like and subscribe if you can as well, it's always appreciated. And hopefully see you on the next one.